Ever notice that one person who goes quiet in the middle of a conversation, staring off into space like they're solving the universe? While everyone else is talking surface level, they're 3 layers down, dissecting meaning, questioning assumptions, connecting invisible dots. What's actually happening in their brain? In the next 5 minutes, we'll break down the 3 psychological traits that separate deep thinkers from everyone else, and why their mind works like a supercomputer while the rest of us are still buffering. This isn't about intelligence, it's about how they're wired. Trait 1. High cognitive complexity. Deep thinkers possess what psychologists call cognitive complexity, a concept rooted in George Kelly's personal construct theory. Their brains naturally process information through multiple frameworks simultaneously. They don't see black and white, they see 17 shades of gray, and they're analyzing all of them at once. Here's the fact bomb. A 2021 neuroscience study from MIT found that individuals with high cognitive complexity use 23% more of their prefrontal cortex during decision-making than average thinkers. Their brains are literally working harder, firing more neurons, building more connections with every thought. Think about your friend who takes forever to answer a simple, "Where should we eat?" question. She's not being difficult. Her brain is running a full cost-benefit analysis, considering dietary restrictions, ambiance, parking, budget, and whether the conversation you're about to have needs a loud or quiet environment. While you're thinking tacos, she's thinking chess. That's not overthinking, that's operating on a completely different processing level. But cognitive complexity is just the engine. What fuel are deep thinkers actually running on? Trait 2. Existential curiosity and meaning-making drive. Here's where deep thinkers separate themselves. They're not just analyzing, they're searching. Deep thinkers have an almost compulsive need for meaning-making, a psychological drive to understand the why behind everything. Surface-level answers don't satisfy them. They need depth, purpose, existential clarity. Picture this scenario. You're at a party, and someone mentions they just quit their job. Most people say, "Congrats," and move on. The deep thinker? They're pulling up a chair. What made you realize it was time? What were you running from or toward? How did you know? They're not being nosy, they're genuinely fascinated by the internal process, the invisible emotional architecture that led to that decision. This is your power if you're a deep thinker. You see patterns others miss. You understand motivations before people even articulate them. You're not just living life, you're studying it in real time. And that gives you an edge in relationships, career moves, and self-awareness that most people never develop. Trait 3. Comfort with intellectual solitude. Now here's the deepest, most mature trait. Deep thinkers have achieved something rare: intellectual solitude, the ability to be completely fulfilled by their own thoughts, without needing external validation or constant social stimulation. They've built an entire universe inside their mind, and they're genuinely happy living there. Research in personality psychology shows that people high in the trait openness to experience, from the Big Five model, often prefer solitary reflection over social interaction. Not because they're antisocial, but because their internal world is richer, more stimulating, and more rewarding than small talk. Your coworker who eats lunch alone, headphones in, staring out the window? He's not lonely. He's engaged in the most interesting conversation of his day, and it's with himself. This mindset doesn't stop at lunch breaks. It extends to how they approach problems, relationships, career paths, everything. They don't need a crowd to validate their thoughts. They trust their own intellectual process completely. This is emotional and intellectual independence at its peak. It's the refusal to dumb down complex thoughts just to fit into casual conversation. It's choosing depth over belonging. So let's recap. Deep thinkers operate with high cognitive complexity, an insatiable drive for meaning-making, and complete comfort in intellectual solitude. They're not better than anyone else, they're just wired differently. Here's the final question. Are you a deep thinker who's been dimming your light to fit in? Or are you finally ready to own the way your mind works? Drop your answer in the comments. And if you're hooked on understanding the psychology behind how people think, subscribe. Next week, we're diving into the dark side, the psychology of people who overthink everything and can't turn their brain off. You'll want to see that. We don't just scroll through lives, we decode minds.